All right, welcome to another Candy's World on Wheels podcast. Today we have a super fantastic guest. We were so surprised that he was a motorcycle dude. So we have Ryland Hennessey from the Hennessey Performance Company.
Glad to be here.
Yes. So how did you get into motorcycles?
Ooh, that is the question. Yep. Everybody seems to think that I could care less about two wheels, but believe it or not, one of my first memories of anything that's motor related was actually on two wheels. My dad would come home from the office doing who knows what, and I have many brothers and sisters, and we're all close in age. So he'd come home and somebody would be upset, crying about whatever, and so my mom would just start handing him babies, and he would stack us on a little pit bike that we had, a little Honda pit bike, and we would just go tool around the neighborhood on the little pit bike. And for whatever reason, that seemed to calm us down. So
You cannot cry if you're riding a motorcycle.
that's right. It's hard to have a bad day on two wheels. So that was really my first exposure to motorcycles. And then I was telling Duncan before this, my brother and I got to do kind of a fun, crazy trip. Him and I flew into Nice, went to the Monaco Grand Prix, and then rented a couple of BMW Adventures bikes and rode along the coastline down to Rome.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah, so that was
That
was a lot of fun.
Great trip.
Yeah. Learned a lot of things. Learned that I wanted to own something Italian. So shortly after, I bought a Ducati 996, and it rode for about a month and had some issues with it, and got frustrated, let it sit, and then found this guy named Mark Sutton.
Yeah.
And here we are, sitting here.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. So you had to own something Italian, and then you found out a lot about the Italian.
Yes, I learned you have to, put money into it to keep it going, and so.
Yeah. We technically, we'll usually say like the Ducatis are the Ferraris of the motorcycle industry, and they're finicky, and they need their
partially
attention.
That's why you love it,
Yes.
The crazy hot girlfriend, she needs special attention and special this and that, and so. But it's all worth it in the end, and it kind of builds the relationship about why you love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they are beautiful machines, very high performance. Very finicky, they need a lot of finessing. They need a lot of care and attention for sure. Mark's been doing Blueprint motor performance work for decades. And I guess that's how you had found him.
Yeah. Yep. I knew whatever happened to the motorcycle, I wanted to get done right. And, I saw a little bit about his kind of resume online, and then, there's nobody better to get that work done. So I said, that's what I want to do. If I'm going to spend the money, I want to make sure it's done right. So, yeah.
That's good. Yeah. It was just so ironic. I had been looking at one of y'all's Raptors online because I have my ideas of the future of having a high horsepower collection.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, do I want a truck? Do I want, what can I get? 1,000 horsepower, because I wanted to be the first woman in the world to technically have like a high horsepower collection.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I guess, rounded out a truck and this and that. And then, fast forward just some weeks later, and I see the name in the system, and I'm like, certainly not. But there's the Hennessey car groups around here all over the place.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if it was the same or just different. But then I was like, hold on, this seems interesting. And then I was like, verified it was you. I'm like, hey, let's do something.
That's right. Let's do something. I'm all about doing something.
Yeah. So that was very cool that it just kind of all worked out like that.
Yeah.
And, I really appreciate you guys coming out. And turns out that your wife's family's from here.
Yeah.
So it all got to work
all
out to
together.
be
We get to see grandma and see some cool motorcycles.
Yeah. That is good.
Yeah.
So what'd you think of the place since you'd not ever been here before?
It's amazing. I've never seen any sort of motorcycle facility like this big, this nice, this professional. It was been a very cool experience. Even got to make a rip on the dyno. That was a hoot. So, yeah, very, very cool. Top class, everything. And of course, just, it's Candyland.
It is.
You get to see motorcycles and different stages, different types of motorcycles, different eras of motorcycles. I mean, quite literally a very large chunk of all of motorcycle world is here for anybody to come walk in and come see. So
yeah, we have a wide variety of customers as well. And, we have people that just come repeatedly just to see stuff. And it's kind of like a modern day museum. We have every style, every flavor, every, from the small to the tall, we got it all.
Yep.
And if you cannot find something that you love here, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go away.
That's right. You may not be a motorcycle person, which is
Right,
okay.
exactly.
You may be a golf cart person.
Well, maybe. Yeah, we got some really nice golf carts too
That's
now.
right.
So we've been doing a lot with that. That's been just a good addition to us for that area, the Marietta Square area, because there's a lot of low speed limit roads that you can drive those on. So the
cool.
ones that we have here are all for the street.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Very cool.
we'll get into doing high performance golf carts.
There
soon.
we go.
Can do
You might know a guy.
Yeah, we can do a collab in the future. But,
There you go.
so describe your experience on the dyno, because you've done it on cars, probably like you could do it in your sleep. But
Yeah,
so how
I've
was
done
it
it a few
for the bike?
It was cool. I mean, yeah, just it's funny because it feels familiar, but at the same time foreign. I've seen that same dyno screen a million times with the tach and the info output from the dynamometer, and it was cool. And it's just wild because, normally when I'm on the dyno, I'm in the car, but being like on the bike, on the dyno, it feels a lot more open, which is different. But I mean, as with kind of the rest of the experience of motorcycles, it's more exhilarating, more engaging, more raw, crazy.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
Hitting all the senses.
Yeah, hitting all the senses. Yeah. A lot more coordination.
Yes.
Usually it's just, set my foot down. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's usually something that when people are talking about getting into motorcycling, if I talk to them, it'll be, if they've never ridden before, one of the most basic questions is, have you ridden a bicycle? Have you driven a stick shift?
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't realize, you're using everything.
Yeah.
And it's for people that need a lot of stimulus. That's the ticket right there.
Definitely.
You have to look and see and hear, and all your appendages are moving, and you're really controlling that thing. There's not a lot of autopilot on motorcycling at all. So it's you are definitely more one with nature, your surroundings, feeling it all, and that's you can't replace that. No matter how fast the car is.
That's right.
You can't replace that extra.
Yeah.
It's like 4D. It really does get you out there.
Yeah.
Feeling the air, and if you go by a body of water or something, feeling that cooler air. And summertime is a wonderful time to ride out, around the lake here, and you'll get the smell of the wisteria. And you just, even in cars, you might get that, but it's still it's a little different.
Yeah.
So
sweet.
Yeah. So tell me, what was it like growing up in a 1,000 horsepower car?
Yeah, I've probably spent more time in 1,000 horsepower machines than most people. It was crazy. I have a lot of memories growing up of my dad picking us up from elementary school in whatever 1,000 horsepower item he was pimping at the time. I remember there's this one great story. He was in line to come pick us up in a 1,000 horsepower twin turbo 4GT, the old 2006. And
beautiful
so,
car.
Beautiful car, very loud machine. So I think he ended up cutting to the very front of the line and thought he could just, keep the thing on and nobody would come up and mess with him. But of course, where we're from in Houston, some of the parents can get kind of crazy. So this mom comes up, knocks on the window and says, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here. I went to the PTA thing and I paid $800 for that first place spot. So I get to park there." And he doesn't give her the time of day. He just kind of sits there and then pulls his phone out and pretends like he's talking to somebody on the phone. So
nice one, Dad.
And then, rolls up and, at the time, I think there was 3 of us at school. So we all cram into the passenger seat somehow and, go down our merry way. So it was cool. I learned a lot of things about life, growing up in fast machines. But I think more than anything, it helped me to realize, I think for us as a family, more than anything, the value of all these cool machines are the memories that it can form with the people that are around you. Right. So, nobody ever thinks of how great a car is or how great a motorcycle is. It's almost always, I had this great experience in this car, or I had a really fun time on this road trip on this machine with people you care about. So
remember when we did this and that, and
Yeah.
remember when my brother was pouring nerds down my back in the back
Exactly.
seat, and my parents were yelling at us, and
Yeah.
all those fun things.
Yeah, because it's fun. It's fun to reminisce and think back. Man, that was a fun time we did that thing, and I can't believe we got away with doing that other thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, you and my son probably share a lot of childhood memories, although he's not quite your age. He's 12. He's in the single syllable response stage in life. So it's hard to really get anything out of him.
Yes.
Did you have a good time? Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to do something like that again? Maybe. So I'm hoping he'll grow into multiple syllable responses soon.
I'm still working out of that with my wife. She'll get on to me for my single syllable responses. How was work? Oh, it's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're working on that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I know it doesn't really change. It's just the mother's hope.
That's
so,
right.
But I have picked him up a few times from school in slingshots.
Yeah.
I never really got, because he went from being small to giant. I don't know what happened.
Right.
He went into some time warp, and he was a little kid one day, and like the next day he's like looking me in the eye, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I'd always thought about picking him up like on Goldwing Trike or something like that. But I never was one to put somebody on the passenger seat. But I picked him up in the slingshot a few times at school, and man,
Fun.
you talk about big pimping.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, mom was not cool ever until I came to pick him up in the slingshot, and every kid in the school wanted to come out and see the Batmobile.
Yeah.
And then he liked mom, and he was like,
yeah.
he's like beaming over there, going, "Yep, this is what
That's
we do."
my mom.
So I had done it a couple of times, and I took a few of the teachers and stuff around. And one of the first times we brought a slingshot home, we took it around the block, and we saw some of the kids that we knew. So I took like every kid and every parent around the block and around the block and around the block, and they just had the best time. It's so much fun, and it's those memory things, and those kids will always remember that.
Oh yeah.
And one of the things that I've always tried to do in the motorcycle industry, knowing how important it is to get the kids interested in it, is always take that time for the kids.
Totally.
I always, we have these coloring sheets of motorcycles and helmets and different scenes and stuff, and we have them up on the wall down there. And just little things to keep kids interested and remember the fun that they had seeing, a slingshot or a motorcycle. And when we have our open houses, we always try and, cater a little bit to the kids and do some fun things for them too, because there's people now who have been bringing their kids to our open houses for years.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I do believe this dude right over here is kind of grown up coming to WOW and seeing all the events and stuff. And the impact you can make from just that smile and a handshake and giving a kid a sticker, is so impactful.
Yeah.
And it is something that I really have enjoyed doing and seeing it, as the kids grow up and they come here and they remember all that.
Yeah.
It's something that just takes very little to do and is really something that can last a lifetime. So,
yeah. Because honestly, kind of like you said with Duncan, you never know what's going to come out of it. Who knows, 5-10 years from now, that kid could be a customer. That kid could be, the president of XYZ thing. So, I don't know. You never know how somebody's going to go down the rest of their lives. So might as well be kind to people.
Exactly. And then similarly, like we were talking about the tuner school for you guys earlier, there's not a mechanic tree to go and pluck a mechanic from. There's not a motorcycle industry employee tree to go pull people from.
Right.
So you guys started the school. Tell me again why.
Yeah. So let's see, man, we started tuner school probably well over 10 years ago, originally as just a way to give back to the community. That's something that my dad wished was around when he was young, to learn and go how to modify cars and do what we do now. So originally started tuner school with small, pretty intimate classes. It's a 14-week long program. And the beauty of it, rather than just learning the theory of, this is how an engine works, this is how suspension works, half the time is doing theory learning. And then the other half, you're actually in the shop. We have one of the new Mustangs, newer Hellcat, and kind of forget what the other one is. I think it's probably a Camaro. And you go through the different stages of modifying. You take the cams out, you put a new, more aggressive cam in there, all the way working up to, I think their final thing is putting a supercharger kit on each of those cars. So cool. And then you also get to put it on the dyno, kind of do what I did today, make a rip on it, adjust the tune for the different controls, and make big power. So, and it's cool too, because that's what it started as, is just giving back to the community and providing an outlet for guys that are looking for something to do that's more trade focused, to go and learn and join the community. And now for us, it's starting to benefit us as we're growing as an organization. We're looking for high quality talent, and all we have to do is look at the graduates of the latest tuner school class, and whoever's willing and able and did well in the class, here's your job offer. Join the team.
Because that's also a AI proof position.
Yeah, definitely. Computers are not going to be diagnosing and fixing cars anytime soon.
Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more focus on trade things, people that work with their hands. There's still a lot of opportunity to be had in those things. And, a lot of people got away from that, but I think there should be a good focus on it. And the motorcycle industry in particular, because the whole industry has kind of shrunk over the years. And it used to be that, I think me and your dad are probably close to the same age.
Yeah.
He probably rode a motorcycle going to
He
school.
did. Yep.
And it was common. It was very common. Every boy in high school probably had a motorcycle growing up, or as their first method of transportation.
Yep.
And somewhere along the way that shifted, that changed. Motorcycles become more dangerous. Metro areas get more congested. People don't have places to ride motorcycles to start learning on them. And it just just compresses the whole industry.
Yeah.
But along with that is now kids are not learning just the basic mechanical skills.
All right.
They don't have that figure it outness. It's like, oh, it won't start. Well, why won't it start? You only have, X, Y, or Z to make it start or not start.
Yep.
And just getting just those basic mechanical skills by having your hands on something. We've seen how, I call it the skateboards and video games that, kind of took a chunk out of motorcycling.
Yeah.
But now understanding it so much further down the road, how that took away a lot of skills, life skills for people.
Yeah. Yep.
Like not being able to hold tools or not being able to understand the basic things of putting air in your tires,
right?
Checking your own oil.
Yep.
So many basic things that I know men and women that don't have a grasp of it or why it's important.
Yeah.
And not understanding that your oil is basically the lifeblood of your car.
Right.
You've got to.
So it might be important to know about, at least.
This light's been flashing on my dash for weeks.
Why.
I don't know why. You. You married into the right family.
That's right.
Yeah. So when I saw the school, I was like, man, that's awesome, because I had been kicking around the same idea for us for a while.
Yeah.
And it's just the implementation. It's like, how do you figure it out? How do you make it work? Is it a paid or unpaid? Do they pay us? Do we pay them? Do we get grants? There's a lot that goes with it.
Yeah.
But I think for the long haul, I think that would be something that we really will be considering.
Yeah.
Because it is a good way to create the seeds of the future potential employees, because they're just not out there anymore.
Yeah.
Very hard to come by.
Yep.
And especially people who you can kind of get and mold and train in the right way. There were a few, and there probably still are some courses around the Atlanta area for it. And I used to be one of the advisors to one of them. And they would go through all this theory with people, but kind of focusing on the wrong things, because we don't do a lot of engine building in our environment.
Right.
Like there's very few specialty shops out there that just do engine building. So they're focusing on all this engine building with these people. And one of the first things I said, I'm like, well, can they load a motorcycle in a truck?
Yeah. Very basic.
Fundamentally,
Yes.
they need to be able to do the most basic things,
Right.
because we would try and, hire these people out of these classes. Couldn't load a motorcycle, didn't have those balance skills, didn't have, just being able to move them around.
Yeah.
Tire changes, all the basic stuff.
Yeah.
So kind of helped change and adapt that. And I think that, would be for me and for what I would be thinking about for the industry is let's teach you all the best basic things.
Right. And part of that too is getting your hands dirty, actually, loading it, practicing loading motorcycles, practicing taking wheels on and off the motorcycle. Yeah.
And of course, being here, you see how much stuff that we have here in all of our trucks and trailers. You want to learn how to load a motorcycle serious.
Yeah.
You see our big rig. I think we can fit 17 motorcycles on there.
Yeah.
A couple in the back, and then just jam packed like sardines. And that takes some time to figure that out and get it from one state to here. All in one piece.
Oh, yeah.
Because also that's another thing is transporting them. It's very nerve-wracking rolling down the road with all of that.
Yeah.
And there's been, knock on wood, we've been very lucky over the years, but it's like you had your little adrenaline earlier today.
I'm
like
sure.
you imagine driving down and all of a sudden you see this bike bouncing off the back of the trailer.
Yeah.
So that's, you got to know how to handle roadside emergencies and, things like that. Cause you never know when a tie down's going to let loose, and on the motorcycles, it's a little different than cars because at least the cars, you've got your emergency brake on and generally it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't have gravity flopping it over.
Yeah.
So that's another big thing that we'd like to implement is just transporting and all the real functional stuff.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think it's just, building motors and riding motorcycles all day.
Right. No, yeah. There's a lot more to it. There's the everything else is also equally as important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had asked me what if I had a dream bike or a favorite bike, but I ask you the same thing. What is yours? What would your dream bike, favorite bike be?
That's a good question. I don't know. It's from all the things I've seen, just spending countless hours on YouTube and going to different events and shows. And, I'm fortunate enough with my job, I get to go to these really, really cool shows, such as like the Quail in California. And I'm trying to think what other big ones. Anyways, so I get to see these cool historic motorcycles. And I always make a point to try and walk by and talk to one person that's associated with the motorcycle to try and learn the history of whatever's around me. So I'm sure there's, lists and lists of cool historic bikes that have done crazy things. But honestly, I think, as shown by my investment in getting the engine rebuilt, my dream bike is the one I have, the 996. I just love the way it looks. Before I met my wife, that bike, while it was broken, I still had it all put together and just sat in my kitchen when I lived with my brother. So, yeah, I think
she was all for that. So you're like, she's the one.
Yeah, exactly.
She's the one.
She loved me through the motorcycle in the kitchen.
I love the smell of gas fumes in the morning.
That's right. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I don't think I'll ever get tired of just looking at that bike and hearing it. Because honestly, I think part of it too is it reminds me of some of the cars that we build, being beautiful and elegant, but also when you turn it on, it doesn't sound like a European anything. It sounds muscly and it sounds, grunty, which reminds me of, all the big block V8s that we've built. And so, yeah.
Rip snorting.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's my term, a rip snorter.
Rip snorting. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it just gives you this vision of just something just tearing up the asphalt when it goes down the road. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a sweet bike.
I love some of the newer exhausts on the supercars that just almost sound like an animal.
Yeah.
I mean, it just gives me chills when I hear it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, man, I can't wait to be able to go to Goodwood or something sometime and see it in person. I always watch the reels and just highlight recaps and stuff. I'm like, one day I'll be there myself.
Yeah, I'm convinced. I've been lucky enough to go there once. I'm convinced if anybody claims to be a car person, they have to go to that event once before they die.
Yeah.
Have to.
Yeah.
I mean, to see the cars and all the other machines that they have there go run up the hill. Because, you go to different car shows and you see cool historic things, but, they're cool historic things. And because of that, nobody wants to take the risk or liability of, trying to push it. But by golly, I mean, everybody that's there, they're trying to go up that hill as fast as possible. And, sometimes things don't go well. Like I remember when I was there, Mercedes had their AMG GT Black Series, the one that had set the record at the Nürburgring, and they were, pimping it and showing how cool it was. And they had, of course, being in England, they had a little bit of a drizzle, and the driver got in and he had adjusted a couple settings on the ABS, and in the first turn, stuffed it into the hay bales. Ouch. So it's crazy.
Well, we all know that's the risk.
Yep. That's
we
right.
all know that's the risk. It's actually one of the reasons why people hang out at the exits on the car shows so
yeah.
that they can
Yeah.
see.
Oh yeah, I've done the same thing.
It's usually the Lamborghinis.
Yep.
Always the Lamborghinis.
Or the Mustang guys.
Well, here it's been mostly Lamborghinis, and I don't understand the engineering behind this, but if you've noticed, almost every time a Lamborghini crashes, the wheels fall off. I don't know if it's a design flaw or something.
Maybe it's intentional.
But they
know.
just fall off. The front wheels just fall off. I mean, like all the Lambo crashes I've seen, even the one a friend of mine had one and he crashed it at Road Atlanta and front wheels fall off. Why? I don't know. Just a weird inherent thing.
Italian engineering.
Yes.
Always have to go out in style.
Yes, exactly. Yes. They're like, if you're going to crash my Lamborghini, then the wheels are going to fall off to make a big deal out of it.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's always fun to see all that cool stuff for sure. So Goodwood's on the list. I've been a little busy the past few years, but it's looking more attainable now.
Good. Yeah.
I think I've got the ship kind of a little stabilized to be able to start planning the bigger, further away trips.
Good.
Because the last few years is just we were building the building in 2020, 21, and we moved here, sold the 3 other buildings we've been working out of, and then I just finished this project that we've been working on for a year. So,
which looks great, by the way. I love it.
Thank you.
Very nostalgic.
Yes. Well, like you were talking about, like all the history of everything. There's decades worth of stuff up here that finally people get to see. So, and then we've got our Texas flag, our ode.
I know.
Our ode to
I
Texas
love it.
here. Yeah.
Brought some Texas pride with us.
Yes, exactly. And we completed that project because we found some more tags. So, that's where I'm from. So we have the Texas flag, the American flag, and the Belgian flag for the previous owner. He was from Belgium. So we have a lot of European flair of things too. So, but it was fun. It's been very fun. And it's, having the people that come up here that see it for the first time, or even the other people that work here with me that hadn't seen it completed, and all just the little things that keep popping up. And I find these things in a drawer and I find them in a box. And it's like, if I open one more box full of stuff now, I'm like, just throw it away. I can't deal with it. But it's going to be a very cool thing to be able to rotate all this out and show all of our historical stuff and add to it. So that's been fun to be able to showcase all the stuff. Yeah. And it all has a meaning and it all has a story. And like with the motorcycle tags, specifically, we had probably a couple decades worth for real. Yeah. Like we saved every single motorcycle tag that we had taken off of bikes that we bought.
Wow.
And I found out something very interesting that I did not know prior to this.
Yeah, okay.
If you put tags in a box or a container, they stink.
Really?
Like they have this really weird specific smell that's something like the smell of the road, if you know what I'm talking about. The smell of the road.
Okay.
The smell of a little bit of rubber, dirt, exhaust, all mixed into one stink bomb.
Interesting.
And when you look at probably some thousands of them, as I have over the last few weeks. Duncan came up yesterday when I was finalizing it, and I just have my hands up, and I'm like, I don't want to touch any more tags. I'm done with the tag project for a while, but that was fun to finally be able to do that. And that's every tag has a story, you know, all the thousands of miles that it was on that bike with that person. So, you know, they were cool to put up there.
Very cool.
Yes. So with favorites and stories and things, is there anything that stands out with your mom? Because you and, again, my son share having crazy horsepower, crazy mothers. Yes. So is there anything funny with your mom? Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom. That's right. Hey, Mom. She's the best. She deserves it all.
Yeah. Sounds like she had her hands full.
She definitely had her hands full. I mean,
and I don't know if it was more from your dad or from y'all.
Oh yeah, that's right. She had to take care of my dad as much as she took care of us. Let's see. You know, my mom, she's had some sweet rides. She's generally kind of been the guinea pig to some degree of some of the products that we've put together. I'm trying to think some of the more notable ones. Probably most famously, she had a Cadillac CTS-V wagon back when they used to make those. Yes. Yeah, 2012, 2014, around there. So I must have been early high school, and it was just the most hilarious thing seeing her drive that around. And of course, it wasn't stock for very long. So we, very quickly developed our HPE 700 package, which soon morphed into, I think we built a few that went all the way up to 1200 with twin turbos.
Nice.
So she wasn't that intense. She wouldn't. My mom, she just would refuse to drive that. But 700, she could do that. So she would,
That's quite a hefty gasoline bill for dropping kids off
that's
at school
right.
too,
I know.
right?
And she was, at that stage.
It's like, I don't know, honey, the mortgage payment or the gas payment for dropping the kids off at school.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And at that point, it was just before my oldest brother got his driver's license. So she is, driving kids to high school, junior high, elementary, sports practices, guitar practices.
She needed a hybrid. Y'all needed to do a hybrid for her back then.
But it was good advertising. People got to see the car.
Yeah.
And it was cool. And it got to the point where it was so kind of notorious in our family. My dad kind of stole it from her. So he had to backfill with I think an Escalade or Suburban or something. Anyway, so we nicknamed that car the Hammer Wagon. So that has a very special place in the Hennessey family lineage.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
If those cars could talk, I'm sure they would have all kinds of funny stories to tell about y'all. So what do you think your possible future would be if you had to design a vehicle for your whole entire family again using all the technology that you know and some magic future technology?
Yeah, that's a great question.
What would that look like?
Interesting you asked that question. It's something I've actually not really put together in my brain before, but we put together a concept, 2-3 years ago. My dad working together with our head of design, Nathan Malinik, very gifted, talented guy. And my dad's always had this crazy, wacky idea of wanting to build a car in kind of a non-traditional seating format arrangement of a diamond. So a driver up front, 2 flanking seats, and then a seat in the back, which, when we were kind of building out the concept, we called it the VVIP seat. So this is like, yes, the mob boss guy. He sits back there, can fully recline. He has his champagne to sip on.
Nice.
So anyways, and it was kind of a crazy, wacky thing. We call it Project Deep Space. We pitched it to our customers. Nobody really bid on it. They want us to build internal combustion. So we said, okay, coming right up. So that's what we're working on now. But Project Deep Space was, I think we wanted it to be like 6 wheels.
Yeah.
So this huge monster kind of grand touring machine with of course, 2,000 horsepower, something wild. So I would put together kind of a extended wheelbase Project Deep Space. So it would be maybe kind of keep the same pattern, but 2 sitting positions in the front, maybe 2 or 3 on the side, and then a double decker VVIP seat, something like that.
Nice.
And the idea was, you could put, you have your whatever driver or whoever in the front, and you have a friend or your spouse in one of the side seats. But you could also have a dog bed. So if you wanted to bring your pup, we would bring our chocolate lab with us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, from the mom aspect, I'm thinking that if I'm in the front, then I can whack my kids with either arm.
There you go. Exactly.
I got both of them.
That's
I don't
right.
just have the one, because the one sitting directly behind you can't ever get.
Yeah.
So I think there's an angle there.
Yeah, there's possibility. That could still be on our docket for the future. So,
yeah, and something like paralyze the children mode. That
there you
just
go.
when you've got the fighting siblings,
Right.
you just push a button and then they're
straps
just
them into their exactly, and their straight jackets and their seats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be funny. Yeah, something to make parents' trips more enjoyable without having to do the whole stop doing that to your brother or your sister and the kids. Are we there? Are we there? How much longer? Yeah, that would be hilarious to be able to just chill all that out.
Yeah, we could have used that. I mean, growing up, we did a lot of road trips just because it was, believe it or not, simpler just to, pack up in our car rather than trying to coordinate going to the airport and, somebody forgot their bag, whatever, which I have done a time or two myself. But we'd all climb into my mom's Suburban or Escalade or whatever she was driving at the time and pack up and drive down to Florida, Pensacola area. Mm-hmm. So that was always exciting. Nobody ever really thinks wow, 7 seats, no one's ever going to fill up a full car of people. And I was like, nope, the Hennessy's did.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, all 7 of us would pack up and drive to the beach together, and many nosebleeds and emergency stops along the way. for a number of reasons.
Well, imagine that on the plane.
Yeah,
that's like
exactly.
that's like a Griswold Christmas, like something.
At least we can
happening
contain the circus just to us privately. We don't have to share that publicly.
Involve
with others.
TSA.
TSA, exactly. Right.
Yes. We're gonna have to stop right now because you guys are all getting off at the next plane.
Exactly.
Yeah, the next airport.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that would be funny. I couldn't imagine having to wrangle 5 children. Wrangling one was enough for me.
Yeah.
Yes, especially when he was younger, they seem like they have octopus arms. I don't know what that. I don't know what that is. Like growing up and morphing out of that, but it was good. He was a good traveler, though.
Yeah, good.
Okay, well, we're gonna have a question for you because we have our little magic question box.
Yes, these are the magic questions.
Magic. Well, they're not magic, but
Sure.
So, because I think you're a crafty guy, you
Okay,
have to think
sure.
outside the box. If your hands were replaced with random objects from a thrift store, what is the weirdest combo you'd get stuck with, and how would you attempt to clap at a concert? I am not responsible for the question. I'm just reading it.
Thrift store. We get some good thrift stores in Houston. We have some interesting people. Yeah, down in Montrose, we get some good thrift stores.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm not a big thrifty guy myself, but
So just to imagine, whatever is in a Goodwill, a thrift store.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some cool stuff I've seen at thrift stores. I have this really cool, I actually picked it up in Nashville. My brother lived there for a period of time. It's this like cowboy marshal star. So that would be one hand.
Yeah.
My other hand would probably be some sort of boa scarf thing, because I know my sisters, they had a bunch of those growing up.
And they all ended up at the thrift store.
Yeah, naturally. And yeah, I don't know how I'd really clap with the scarf hand, but I'd give it my best try. I'd probably just take my cowboy star and whack it against my head. I'm a problem solver more than a craft guy, so I'd figure it out.
Yeah, you'd figure it out.
Yeah.
Give you the problem and you'll solve it.
Exactly.
That's cool. All right. Well, that's a vision to make.
Yeah.
Can we AI that up?
Yeah.
That could be our thumbnail.
ChatGPT, make Ryland Hennessey with cowboy star hands and boa constrictor.
And leopard boa print
boa, yes.
hand. I think we're going to get something funny out of that.
I'm sure we will.
For sure. So I never really got around to asking you. I think it's probably mandatory if you were born into your family, like you're going to do this and you're going to like cars. So what do you do? Like, what is your job?
Well, that's a great question. So in school, I studied mechanical engineering, and I did that. It's funny. I remember very distinctly as I was kind of getting to the later years of my high school career, thinking, well, what do I want to do with my life? And at that point in time, I had no idea, just as many other kind of young people. So I said to myself, I don't know, but I enjoy taking things apart and putting things together and trying to build things. And I love a good challenge. So I heard engineering was very hard. And I was like, okay, I can try it, give it a whack. So that's what I ended up doing, because I figured, if I want to put things together, take things apart, try to build something, I should probably build it in a way that's not just going to fall apart immediately, break.
Yes.
So
please.
Yeah, I thought
especially
that would
if you're
be
building vehicles.
a useful skill set. At the time, I had done stuff with cars in my family, but I wasn't necessarily set on like going back to the family business or even working in the automotive sphere. I just didn't know I enjoyed working with my hands, and the most accessible way of doing that for me was, jerking around with a car, trying not to tell my dad or let him not find out, or, trying to take the lawnmower apart. So both of
that's why the lawnmower didn't work.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. He didn't mow the lawn anyways. He was too busy. So anyways, that's what I studied in school. Coming out of school, I worked at a small startup EV company just outside of Houston. Kind of interesting. The guy that started it used to be the head of robotics, I think, at NASA.
Awesome.
At the Johnson Space Center. So anyways, it was cool learning experience. I got exposed to the EV platform, and it was interesting, small team. But at the time, my dad's company was working on kind of the next generation for the small volume vehicle program that we built. The original one was called the Venom GT, which was based on a Lotus. Basically, my dad had this, of course, wacky idea of like, what happens if we take one of these big, super powerful engines that we keep building and put it in like a super small, lightweight thing, right? That would be like a rocket ship. That's crazy. That'd be like bonkers. And so the wacky idea was, let's take, one of our twin turbo Viper engines and put it in a Lotus. Like, oh, that's crazy, whatever. And weirdly enough, that developed into a concept. And at SEMA, my dad famously, was asked by some reporter dude, like, hey, John, what's new? And he pulls out this concept that some guy had just put together. And he's like, oh, I'm building this crazy Venom GT. It's got the, one of our big powerful engines and this Lotus. Like, oh, isn't that crazy? And then,
They're like prying the Lotus carcass around the motor.
Yeah, exactly. Right. How are you going to do that? Who knows? And it was just like, crazy idea. And the next week he gets a call from, of course, probably some guy in the Middle East. I don't know where he's from. And it was like, hey, I want to order one.
I'll take 10.
I'll take 10. So anyways, he was kind of strapped into that whole deal. Anyways, where was I? Yeah. So the AV company, Venom GT was the predecessor. We wanted to, that car was great and really cool in a lot of ways, but the biggest pushback obviously was like, oh, well, it's just it's a modified Lotus. That car forever and ever will be incredibly misunderstood and mislabeled as, oh, it's just a modified Lotus because, John Hennessey modified cars. He doesn't build cars.
Yeah.
And so when he was thinking about the next generation, he showed a concept to a customer at the time. And the customer said, John, that's cool and all, but if you want to get the credit for building your own car, you have to build your own car. Mm. So at the time, it was a kick in the nuts, but I think it was good motivation for him to say, you know what, he's right. Like, if I really want to do this, I have to go all in. So, we went all in and developed our own carbon fiber tub and engine and a whole lot of other things. I mean, and that's what I work on now. It's called the Venom F5. And over 6,000 parts and just crazy idea that, we manufacture our own car.
Yeah.
And it's unique to us. And so anyways, that's what I work on now is the Venom F5. And I love it. I work with my 2 brothers, brother-in-law, younger sister, and dad.
Nice.
And it's fun. We get along for the most part.
That adds a different element to the work environment.
Yes, it definitely adds a small wrinkle, but I think we've had our hard moments, but generally we get along, and I think we have a stronger relationship because of it.
Yeah.
So,
well, coming from an environment where we've had something similar to that here, it adds wrinkles when there's irritation because you push your family's buttons better than anybody else. Yep. And that really can give those real volcanic moments. But it also at the same time, each other so well, and then that, you got each other's backs and you see everybody through all those moments and there's that deep connection.
Yeah.
And generally there's less likelihood that, if you say, well, I'm leaving, I'm going to go do this. You'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. They'll always be back around.
Yeah. It's, sometimes also too, it's easier to kind of pop off at the family.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, they're just having a moment and you can accept it easier than if it's just, somebody that's outside.
Yeah.
But, I think that's awesome that you guys have that. And so the whole family works there,
my older sister, she is the black sheep. She worked at the company in the marketing division, did a lot of work with social media and grew it a ton. I mean, I think when she got involved, we were around like 300,000 followers on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what the number is now, but it's like, I think well over 2 million. Probably, and she helped kind of lead our account to explode. And we all kind of have unique ways that were similar with my dad, but I think her more than all the rest of us is most similar. Mm-hmm. And she's very entrepreneurial, very driven, very determined, a hard worker. And so naturally they would just clash, and the clashes got pretty hard. I can't read what that says.
It says 5.4 million.
3. Thank
Three.
you.
Oh, I'm
Verified
sorry.
3.4 million.
3.4. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So a lot of followers.
Sister, come hang out with me sometime.
That's right. Honestly. Yeah. Well, so she worked at the company. They butted heads. She got so fed up. She said, you know what, Dad, you did your own thing. This isn't working for me. I need to go do my own thing. So she left, started her own marketing agency called Roy's Digital Media, RDM. And that's what she does now. She has like 12 employees or something crazy.
Fantastic.
And,
That's awesome.
It's very successful. And I don't think this is the case anymore, but it's just kind of a funny like middle finger moment. In the early stages of her business, she actually had Hennessey Performance as a client. So
Hey,
it went from kind of, boss, father-daughter relationship to customer, which I think is just awesome. I'm so happy for her. Her and her husband, they do a great job and run a good small business. So,
well, I think at the end of the day, every parent wants their child to be successful.
Yeah.
And whether that's successful within a family business or successful in their own right,
Yeah,
I think that's
definitely.
the goal for every parent, to want their kid to succeed and succeed beyond their parents. I'd love to see my son do whatever it is that makes him happy.
Yeah.
Because he has sadly no interest in motorcycles. So I don't know. Maybe he's
Not
not
yet.
my
There's still
child.
hope.
I don't know.
There's still hope.
He likes cars
young.
though. It's
Yeah.
more,
Hey, there you go.
more expensive than
Yeah,
motorcycles.
that's
So
true.
I said, whatever lifestyle you want to lead is great. Just understand how expensive it is.
That's right.
So your job needs to be proportional to the life that you want to live.
That's right. And he'll find,
mom's
if he
not
really
paying
loves
for
it, he'll find a way to finance it.
He will, for sure. So, but that's a great introduction to who you are and your family. And I, been a fan of the vehicles for a long time, but once I had seen the thing about your parents and how long they had been together and that whole like love story of, your dad's really got like the almost perfect American dream, except for the fact that he was an American, not coming here and then living the American dream. But,
right.
Getting through all that stuff on his own
did.
and finding a woman that supported all his craziness and the ups and downs, and being in a kind of volatile recreational industry. I know those ups and downs are rough.
Yeah.
When
there's really high highs and really low lows.
Yes, and there's no forgiveness when they're in the lows.
Yeah.
It's so I that made me love you guys just that much more. I'm like, these are my people. It's like I know all of the hardships that they've gone through, and to have the family and the success that they've had. That's when you have that partner to support you, it makes a big, big difference.
Yeah.
And some of the motivational speeches that I see, and some of these big wealth dudes say the most important decision you ever make in your life is who you marry.
Spouse, that's right.
Who you marry.
That's right.
And we see that as I've been in the industry for a really long time, and I can see now, looking back at the people that were most successful, and success is different for everybody.
Right.
Success can be, I want my 3-bedroom house, my 2 dogs, the white picket fence, and my garden in the back. That's what I want. And I have my partner to do that. And then there's people that want different. But the people who are supportive of each other and not negative, probably for me, the worst thing for me is I used to listen to my parents like complaining about their day when I'd go home.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I made a mental note. I'm like, I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
Because your jobs are what's supporting you. If you don't like your job, don't bring it home, because then that just kind of muddies the waters of everything if you're just focusing on complaining. And I think people are much more successful in life if they have that partner that supports what they're doing.
Yeah.
You having your motorcycle in the kitchen.
That's right.
Finding somebody that lets you be you and supports what you do and understands, this is what you do to support me and my lifestyle, or us in our life and what we want to do. Or, if you want to have somebody that wants to, have a bunch of goats and dogs and children and do whatever, support each other in all those causes, and your life will just be better for it. So, I really, really liked seeing that part of it, because you just don't see that very much for them to go through life together for so long. And so thank you all. Giving me hope, giving me hope for the future.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, she is hope, quite literally. That's her name.
That's right. That's right. Yes, it is. So I'm going to come out and meet the mom.
Yeah, come on.
We'll race each other.
Yes, she would love that.
I think that will be great. We'll work on that. I'll have to head to Texas anyway sometime soon. Yep. So All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up, but we're going to see you again tomorrow.
Okay.
And I think I really, really, really have enjoyed this more than
it's been fun.
anything. So thank you guys very much for coming out and spending time with us.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
We will see you again soon.
Okay. Sounds good.
If you would like and subscribe, and if you are listening to this on any kind of podcast streaming service, please make sure that you'll leave us a review so that we can keep doing this and bringing all this great information to you. Thanks.